Wow. It's so wonderful to see all your faces as I'm scanning. Wow.
Hi, everybody. Yeah, people are still joining. Welcome, everyone. And just take your time to settle in. Okay. Hello, everyone. A very, very warm welcome. It's really such a delight to be here. Almost 1 year after the start of the Mitigation retreat. To be here together with you all and to again feel this connectivity and this connection and this interconnectedness. And we are honored to have Jon Kabat-Zinn with us and also Soren Gordhamer. Both are here. And I pass it over to you, Jon.
Well, hi, everybody, and welcome. And just to say how touched I am, first of all, that that Perry and Tomas thought it might be a nice idea to have a almost 1 year reunion of our mitigation retreat that ended towards the end of June. And of course, Soren is also here. We'll talk more towards the back end of our time together, but I thought it was like really probably most important for us to drop right in and just rest in the presence of each other in silence for a few moments. So let's, once again, even though it's a year later, it's still now. And there's a lot to be said about every moment of now, including this one. But let's simply experience being in the company of each other, even in this very strange digital universe that, even though it's strange, has its own profoundly wonderful qualities, including this deep sense of interconnectedness and really kind of an expression of our not only love, but our wisdom and caring for the world and for the world that is us, by taking the time in your day, whatever time zone you're in, to come together in this way. So let's drop into silence, silent wakefulness. In a posture, if you want to emphasize the body element of it, which is really important, your intentionality can actually be experienced in the carriage of the body. So sitting is however you care to, in a posture that embodies wakefulness and dignity, no matter what the hour. And giving yourself over entirely to simply being and not having to fill the space with anything, thoughts or doing of any kind. And just letting what unfolds unfold and be apprehended or embraced in awareness, which happens completely naturally, so you don't need to do any work. Just let the openness of your own heart embrace whatever's here, moment by moment by moment. Eyes open is fine, eyes closed is also fine. If you're alone, then you're not really, because you're with all of us. And if you're together with other people in the room, then you're together. In a very profound way, we're never really alone. When we love the breath coming in, when we love the breath going out, when we love resting in silence, stillness, when we love the radiance of our own heart, wishing the world and others well. So just giving yourself over to the silence that's inside and underneath my words and what they're pointing out in you. That's always been here and that's here today. And that actually brought you here to this, Zoom gathering. And just to remind you, there's no need to struggle with anything that might be arising in the mind or the body for that matter. And just putting out the welcome mat for all of it, because it's already here. And your awareness, the arms, the embrace of your own awareness is complete enough, is big enough to hold it all without having to edit it, push anything away, deny anything, or for that matter, pursue anything. Our great poet of the 19th century, Walt Whitman, great American poet, in this enormous ode that he wrote called Leaves of Grass, one line says, I am large. I contain multitudes. He's not alone. We're all like that. It's the signature of our humanity, is that we hold each other, not just in our hearts, but in our awareness, in our being, in our living, in our atoms, in our biology. And so we are completely enmeshed and interconnected with each other and breathing the same molecules. So, as you know, I like to say, resting in awareness and knowing in the deepest of ways, in your bones, in your cells, in your breath, that they're in some profound way, transformative way, healing way, liberating way, there is no place to go in this moment. That you're already completely at home where you are in this moment with things exactly as they are, even if they're very, very difficult. There's no place to go. And there's nothing in this moment that you have to do. And if there were, you wouldn't be here right now. You'd be doing it. So you can really give yourself some room on this score. And in terms of the meditation practice, there's no special something that you need to seek or strive after. Nothing to attain. Why? Because you're already whole. And this wholeness is non-trivial. And knowing it in your bones, in your cells, in your heart makes all the difference. Because then it's no longer a concept, but it's actual experience of life unfolding without any intermediary or any kind of obligation other than to not miss it and respond to what it's offering. Because this breath will not last forever. This life that we have and that we see people losing all around us due to this horrible pandemic. This life is not forever. We're seeing that played out in ways that it really didn't have to at the level that it is. And that's part of what needs to be recognized and acknowledged as well. That we don't get to control everything. And hopefully we're doing the best we can as humans. Fighting something that's not really even alive. It's just a specialized concatenation of chemicals that can actually take our breath away, end our lives. And we've figured it out enough to actually make it possible to defeat its way of killing us and robbing us of breath, which is how it does it in large measure. So honoring that your life in this moment is not only a gift, but in a universe of completeness, nothing missing, even if you think there's a lot missing. And when we orient in this way, we can really attend to what is missing, to what's been lost, to all of the various constraints and challenges that we've been living in for way, way, way too long. And yet we have no real control over other than to do what is most sensible to do and hope for the best, which we're all doing. Getting vaccinated would be one major element of that as the vaccines become available. And really everybody in the world needs to be vaccinated in order to take care of the whole of humanity. And so in every way, shape, and form, we are in this together. We always have been, but when we wake up to it in this way, when we can tap into our own deep capacity for healing, healing our wounds, healing our frustration, healing our reactive emotions, healing our grief by putting out the welcome mat for it, not denying any of it, then we're living life fully as best we can. And you all know this, of course, and my guess and my hope is that you practice this every day, not just in formal meditation, but in the actual unfolding of all of our moments, whether we're stuck at home, whether we're in this challenging situation or that challenging situation with work, with family, with children, grandchildren, whatever it is, it's been unbelievably frustrating in many ways. And everybody's story is different, but how we hold it is the meditation practice. And we're healing each other when we hold it that way. We're healing our families when we can maintain some degree of balance and clarity and open-hearted spaciousness and non-attachment to having things happen the way we would most like to have them happen under circumstances we really can't control as we would like to. So again, letting your own body, your own breath, your own being bathed in the silence inside, underneath, and in between the words I've been using. To remind you and of what you already know. And to remind you of how much the world needs you to be this you, the full you, the more spacious you, the intrinsically open and generous you, the you that doesn't put you first all the time. And that therefore can be of profound solace to others, whether those are people in your family or whether they are people at work or people in your networks or around the world or in this map of love community or the larger world. This world at this moment has never been clearer that it needs every single one of us to be whole, to be all that we already are, to be complete, and to recognize it not only in ourselves, but to recognize that wholeness in every other person and then relate to them in that way. Even when some subset of those people are exceedingly challenging or maddening to the point of desperation. How things unfold on this planet is going to make this orientation towards how we hold other people is going to make all the difference in whether we can not only heal from this pandemic, but heal all of those forces that are driving other kinds of pandemics and huge challenges for the species and the planet. in directions that are very, very scary, potentially. And so recognizing that when you drop in this way, when you shift to mindfulness, embodied wakefulness as your default mode and live your life that way, then there's no beginning or no end to the meditation practice. And we don't need to make a big deal of it. Life is the meditation practice when we're awake. And if we're just sleepwalking through our meditation practice and doing it as one more thing that we have to do, then it's not a non-doing and it's not real meditation practice. Real meditation practice, simply wakefulness, grounded in integrity, grounded in authenticity, grounded in non-harming, grounded in deep caring for the realization of how interconnected we are and how much we need each other. So I didn't ring any bells at the beginning, and I won't ring any bells at the end, because in some sense there is no end to this meditation. And you all know this already, but it is so moving to gather together in this way and just remind ourselves that we're still here, that we've made it this far. I was reflecting that, when we started what we were calling the mitigation retreat was in late March of last year, so almost a year ago. And we went for 13 straight weeks, so late June. And we called it a mitigation retreat because we thought we were actually mitigating the curve. But if you look at the curve now for the entire year, we were hardly in the antechamber of this pandemic. For all of the death and the loss and the disease during, the spring. The summer was even worse. And then the fall and the winter, even worse. And you're only now seeing the declining cases with the vaccines that have become available. It's remarkable that science was able to deliver vaccines that actually protect us from this virus within less than 12 months. Getting it out into everybody is a whole other story. And I hope wherever you are that you are online for getting vaccinated if you haven't been already. A lot of people don't trust the vaccines. They don't trust the truth. They don't trust science. They don't trust public health. Nothing is absolutely known, but that's where one has to understand probabilities and what is, by consensus, the right thing to do. And then we do that. So I don't want to take up too much time. We only have about an hour altogether. And I'd like to leave plenty of room for people to at least say a few things, let us know how you've been doing over this past year, the challenges. We don't need, all sorts of happy stories, but, whatever it is, whether you're still practicing, what it means to you. And I think we'll start by just inviting Soren to say a few things, because, the mitigation retreat last year was really something that emerged out of Soren and my own deep friendship and collaboration over many years. And it just seemed like it was important to do it. And so we did. So Soren, over to you to say whatever you care
Thanks,
to
Jon.
contribute at this point in time.
Yeah. Well, one is first, it's just so good to see. I was zooming through all the different pictures of everybody, and it's just so sweet to see everybody's faces, and it just brings a lot of love in my heart to see everybody here. And I was telling John and Perry Thomas, for the record, I only asked John to do one session once. I said, could you do this thing for free, you know, for on this topic? And remember, we talked, I think it was the next day, and he was just like, I think I have to keep going. There was so much love and connection I felt from this community. I just have to keep going. Can we do another week? I was like, sure, we can do another week. And then after that week, you know what? I feel like there's something else. And one of the things I love about John is that he really listens to that, like that inner guidance. It's like, no, keep going, keep going. And so it was just real honor to be able to hold that space with all of you. And it's interesting in the meditations. Yesterday, I was at a vaccine, mass vaccine place, and I was kind of volunteering and helping at the end. And this nurse came in, and she said, I got the most oddest request today from somebody that I was giving a shot to. And she said, as I was about to give her a shot, she said, do you mind if I ask you for something? And the nurse said, sure, what would you like? And she said, could you please take off your gloves when you give me a shot? And the nurse is like, why? And she said, I haven't been touched by another human being in a year. And if you could take off your gloves and just touch me, hold my arm as you're giving me a shot, I would greatly appreciate it. And the nurse was able to do that. And she was able to give the shot. And I was thinking about what it would be like for that woman to not be touched, you know, for over a year, and how many people might be in similar positions. And I feel like John and this community kind of invited us all to take off our gloves, you know, not necessarily to physically touch, but let the armor of our glove, whatever gloves we have on, to take off our metaphysical gloves and really be touched by each other. And I think that was such a beautiful community, be a part of people who came together in a really, really challenging time and just learned from one another. And your stories and your experiences and your questions sit with me every day. You know, I feel like I carry this community in my heart, and I know John does. And your authenticity, your willingness to show up is really powerful, and your willingness to let yourself be touched and to take off your gloves in life. And I feel very inspired just knowing that all of you exist and that this community exists. And a deep bow to Perry and Thomas and so many of you who kind of continued it on. And yeah, it's always an honor to think of you. I was telling a friend the other day about this. She hadn't known about it, and I started bringing tears to my life. I started crying, actually. I was like, well, we started this group, and then all of a sudden it just continued, and it just continued. And just the sweetness that exists here is just so you know, I carry all of you with me, and it's always just so wonderful to see you. And I see all these hands popping up on the screen right now, so I'm going to stop talking. Perry and Thomas, I'm going to pass it back to you and see how you want to handle the numerous hands here that are appearing. But thank you all. It's so wonderful to see you all.
So yeah, hello everybody. We are starting soon with the Q&A session. Just before that, I want to let you know that we are recording this session, and that the recording will be up on YouTube, on our Map of Love YouTube channel afterwards. So when you raise your hand, you are picked, and you are also visible to the public.
Okay. So, I see Isabelle de Vassar. Just wait a minute. Yes.
Hello.
Hi.
Hello. So nice to see you, all of you here 1 year after. So first I want to say thank you, because this is just great. In my heart, it's like overwhelming, almost with sorrows. I just want to make a sort of testimony. I've been looking what happened to me 1 year ago, when I was so bad, and that John had just the wonderful words. And I felt this community helping and in a way saying I was not so bad. I felt that I was also, as any one of us, like a flower that just wants to bloom. And so I remember those words, and it was so helpful, because it's so simple just to say just this, not anything more, just trying to be this flower blooming among the other ones. So that's just what I want to say tonight. Thank you for being there, all of you. And of course, thank you again, Jon. It's so nice to see you there, always there. And Soren, that from time to time I follow on wisdom and so on. And of course, Perry and Thomas, always there also. So thank you so much.
Oh, that is just so beautiful. I'm so glad that that you raised your hand. And you know, it just really touches my heart that we don't need to get into, you know, questions and answers and stuff like that, but this just expression of what our being together awoke in you or reminded you of, and that image of being a flower and simply being okay by virtue of being just the one flower that you are. When you remember that, what a flower is, it's just profound. And I feel like you're teaching me as much as I'm teaching you just by hearing you say that.
Thank you.
Or
Really.
reminding me, if you will, as a better way to put it, just to remind each other.
Really, when even sometimes I feel, which doesn't happen so much now anymore, because I'm healthy now, but just this idea is just simple and wonderful. Just this way, wonderful, being a flower.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
So yeah, we see Graham. So let me pick you here. Graham, can you?
Yeah, thank you, Thomas. Thank you, Perry and Soren and Jon. Yeah, calling in from London. I did want to ask a question, I'm afraid. I hope that's still okay. It'll be a quick one.
So, of course, it's okay.
Okay. I think you sort of alluded to it, Jon, on a couple of occasions, both during the meditation and afterwards, about the difficult conversations that maybe some of us are having with very close family members, in my case, around the vaccine and broader sort of conspiracy theories. And I'm really struggling to bring my mindfulness practice. I was struggling in a big way, to be honest, to bring my mindfulness practice into those conversations. I realized they were highly triggering for me. And I was then not responding with love, compassion. I found it impossible to, well, in the moment, I found it very difficult to respond with love and patience and compassion in a way that was also authentic to the way that beliefs that I hold very strongly, and that these things are quite dangerous, and they are being propagated in some instances by people who have a proven track record of sort of just, I don't know why, but just lying about climate, for instance, is a really big one. These are coming from the same spaces. So I just wondered if you had any experience or advice on ways to communicate with love and compassion, but with integrity at the same time, and authenticity to our values.
Well, this is a very, very profound question. Tell me your name again. It doesn't come up on my screen.
Graham.
So, and it's funny that you're asking this question about your own particular situation, but this is playing out around the world. And in the United States, big time, not just around the vaccine, but around reality and the nature of reality and conspiracy theories. I mean, people are believing the most unbelievable things. And of course, as soon as you believe a conspiracy is afoot, would you let someone stick a needle in your arm that comes from some corporation that you don't have any trust in? You know, it's like they could be trying to do any number, and then your mind starts to get going, and then it's like, so in a sense, I mean, we have to have some degree of sympathy for people who are living in a movie of their own creation, which has all sorts of authentic, you know, sort of content within the movie. It's just that the whole thing is wrong. But once you're in the reality of that, then everything is you know, contextualized by that. I don't know how to connect with another human being except through, in some sense, some way or other, they must love something or other. They must love something. And it may be a person. It may be that they feel a deep connection with some other person, that they want to be well. And it seems to me that in a pandemic kind of situation, we're not just getting vaccinated for our own benefit, we're getting vaccinated for the benefit of others. So if you do find a way to communicate that you're not doing this for yourself, you're doing this for all these other people who, you know, are at risk for dying, whether they're older or younger, then maybe you can sort of break, you know, touch the bubble, the soap bubble of that madness, and have some degree of compromise around, say, getting immunized. But you're asking a question that really is coming down to far more than just the vaccine, but just what kind of a world are we living in? And some people are living in a world that's completely, you know, an alternate reality from anything else that many, you know, other people might be living in. And we need to grow out of this. That's what the meditation practice really offers us, is like growing into our full humanity, where we see how easily, if the tables were turned, you'd probably be the one who was in the conspiracy theory, truth be known, because if the reality is manipulated well enough, you'd believe something that's patently false. All of us would. So you have to have some degree of compassion and empathy for these people who are caught. It's a virus of its own. It's a pandemic. I mean, you can call it Trumpism. You can call it, what, you know, QAnon or whatever you want to call it. But it's like hard to believe that people get into those kinds of things. And I just want to just register my empathy and sympathy for you in terms of dealing with close friends or family, or you know, anybody in that kind of circumstance where in the end, you can't force anybody to do what they don't want to do. So they may experience your kindness by stepping back. That may have more of an impact than pushing forward. But thanks for asking that, Graham. It's like, at least it puts on the table that we're living in a fairly insane world at the moment, and we can't go on like this, because reality doesn't care about our delusions about reality.
Thank you.
Good luck.
Thank you very much.
Okay, and then we see Lourdes, Sola. Mm-hmm.
Oh, thank you. Thanks a lot, Perry. Well, just to tell you how much I'm grateful, especially, as you know, I am Brazilian. So we are going through a very, very hard time. And I'm very moved by being connected to all of you. And I feel that I can help people here the way I can. I do my best. I am a political scientist, so this is not easy to think about what we are going on. The epidemic has been rejuvenating in Brazil, so that we have lots of young people dying now, and near closing to collapse,
Really?
the health system. And the terrible thing is that Brazil had an excellent health system and a very good experience in vaccinating 18 million children all over the country. But still, I mean, the government has destroyed, I mean, the potential, thanks, they have not destroyed entirely the opportunity or the chances. So I'm so grateful to you. I mean, all those months, I have thought of you all. I have shared your guidance as much as I can. So I cannot say more than that. Thank you so much.
And thank you. I mean, it is so beautiful that we're hearing from you, and you know, it just breaks my heart open. You know that you're there in Brazil, and that you're able to share the gratitude. Because you know that changes the world too. It's not just like we have to get everybody to, you know, sort of. It's very hard to know how to set a country right when it's caught up in some kind of madness, and where people are dying not so much from the pandemic, but also from the madness that's bigger than the pandemic. So, and they interact. So, I just want to express my personal kind of gratitude to you for the emotion behind what you're saying, and wish you well in terms of your work in trying to influence the world of political science in the academic sphere or in any way, shape, or form. I am very optimistic about humanity and about all of our nations, that when push comes to shove, we are going to wake up, but we can make it happen faster by living embodied in our own hearts and in our own wisdom, and not trying to force that on the world. And that's part of the healing. And I just feel blessed by your having said that.
Thank you. And we see Jiyoung. So I ask you to unmute.
Thank you, Perry and Thomas. And I can see myself, so it's weird. So thank you, everyone. I'm so overwhelmed. I feel like I've been riding or flowing in this warm ocean of love and wisdom. And John, I have to tell you, it doesn't stop right here. Since the beginning of the meditation retreat, I've been offering meditation yoga to my community. So I'm sure all of the others in this room have done one way or the other, touching many, many, many others. So the ripples, just, you can't see the edge of it. So, and I'm from Hangzhou, and I had a conversation with you years back at the IMS. So next week, I'll be taking my first vaccination. I'm one of the volunteers for the regional hospital here in Portsmouth, New Hampshire. So it's great that the hospital finally opened up to this volunteer program again, because it was shut down a year ago. So I will carry on whatever I absorbed from here, and onward, forward, inward.
Yeah, and what you say about the ripples is so important. I mean, that's really why we all engage the way we do, because it is a pandemic of love. It is a love affair. Those ripples have major healing effects on the world. in ways we will never fully understand. And so it's music to my ears to hear you saying that. And thanks so much.
Thank you.
Okay, and then Sarit, I ask you to unmute.
Hi. Wow. So good to see you, Perry, Thomas. Thank you very much. John, I'm following you in every way. First of all, I want to thank you so much for your work. And well, we have the map of love, and we're continuing to do this beautiful work, and also the community, to our community sessions that are really a continuation of opening up to our own creativity and love. So I really thank you. We are, you know, I'm giving the once a month in our community a mindfulness and creativity workshop, and it's an opening heart community. It feels like every time we're allowed to give each other something from ourselves, it's like it's a ripple, it's a big wave of love. So I really want to thank you, and that our work will continue touching many, many hearts.
Thank you. And where are you calling from? Where are you located?
From Israel. I'm in Israel.
Wonderful. Wonderful. Israel, I think, has vaccinated more people than any other country.
Oh, we are all vaccinated. All my family. We are very, very much appreciating that that it's possible for us. And somehow I feel, you know, we feel safer, although not most of people in Israel are vaccinated, I think, but it's we're still keeping, you know, working with masks and taking care of ourselves.
Yeah, you have to.
It's important.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I hope everybody is getting vaccinated there, including, you know, the Palestinians and, you know, everybody, because this is kind of like, as I said, the whole world needs to, you can't take care of one country without taking care of the whole planet in a certain way. So I think it's really teaching us something about interconnectedness in a very profound way.
Yes, and it's meditation is, like you say, it's something that continues. It's in everything. So it doesn't have any beginning or end. It's a way of being. And the more I give, the more I feel that many people are around me and are taking it as a part of life.
Wonderful.
So yes,
And I see,
actually
you
I'm
know,
using
you said something about creativity, and I can see behind you that there's plenty of creativity on the walls. And, you know, mindfulness is deeply connected with imagination and creativity. I mean, we don't really understand this at all, but that's an incredibly important part of human expression. And it has been since, like, you know, for hundreds of thousands of years, from the times we were living, you know, pre-agriculture.
Exactly. It's amazing. I'm a psychotherapist and I'm working with mindfulness and creativity. And it's wonderful to see how when there are no words, there are other ways of expression to give your emotions and to be there, to be here with everything you have openly. So yes, creativity is a part of life. It's the same thing as
Thank you.
mindfulness.
Thank you.
So much.
So, and then, yeah, maybe we are coming close to the hour. John, shall we take one more?
Yeah, you know me. Let's go for let's have one more, and then we'll sort of say a few things and say goodbye. But
Yeah, so I'm seeing Leverdian. If you could unmute yourself.
Hi, everybody. John, thank you very, very much. Hi. Well, I'm calling from Switzerland. I'm Dutch, and it's been a heavy year. Last year, I did not getting ill from corona, but a very heavy illness called cancer, and been in the hospital. But I have noticed that the mindfulness helped me through this period of a month being very ill. And well, that was so profound for me to notice that there's only now, and I've noticed that to go inside, it helped me so much. And although I'm fit now again, and it's really heavy because I can't work as a nurse anymore, and although that's not nice to have to stop, but I also am a MBSR teacher and life therapist. So when you are becoming ill, it's a total other experience. So to go inside and look every time with everything what is there, to accept and letting be, I've noticed that's the way. And yeah, I want to thank you for that, because I couldn't handle that other way.
that is so profound, and I hope everybody really, really is taking in what you're saying, because those moments arise for all of us where our stories and our pretense, and even our stories about meditation and our career and teaching and everything else, they fall away, and it's just you and yourself.
Yes.
And reality. And when you can learn from that and move into that as kind of like the way it is and hold it in awareness, then all of a sudden you become alive for the first time.
Yes, that's
so
very
ironically, true. Even when we are in pain or we're scared because of a disease, a life-threatening disease, it can actually wake us up and help us to heal in every way that that word has meaning, profoundly. You know, facing the circumstances as they are.
Yes.
And so thank you so much for raising your hand and participating. I feel a little frustrated, I want to say, because I feel like we could have had conversations for hours with yourself and everybody else who spoke, and then also many people who haven't spoken. That this just reminds me of how much our being together for those 3 months really was a love affair, and that it really reflects the love affair of what the practice is every time we wake up and every time we remember to be present, wherever we are around the world, or whatever our circumstances in our own lives and with our own health. And I just want to say that I'm so grateful for Perry and Tomas for during this whole thing, I guess because of my birthday or whatever it was that's organized it, created this community that really in some sense can be ongoing. And I'm feeling very much like, why does this have to be over now? You know, it's like, why? And I don't mean that just like in this moment, but there's something about what we share that's so beyond time and space that when you speak like this, and every single person who's spoken, this is not coming out of Jon Kabat-Zinn or Soren or out of Perry and Tomas or even out of the Map of Love. This is coming out of our embodied wakefulness, our capacity to be fully human. And if we know that, then we can live that fully, and then it has a profound effect on the world. And the more we get together like this on Zoom or sometime maybe even in person, hopefully, and have these kinds of recognitions and these kinds of sharings, I can't think of anything more beautiful or more affirming or more life-giving than the fact that we are truly in some kind of community, even though everybody's in their own house at the moment, or again, around the world. So thank you for your sharing. And to go back to Perry and Tomas at this moment, I really want to again express my thanks. I think Soren's left, I'm not sure, but I want to express my thanks to Perry and Tomas for holding this community, because it does need a certain kind of holding and a certain kind of instrumental connecting, even though non-instrumentally we're never not connected. And I feel that. I just carry you in my heart, not even knowing who you are, but knowing in some really deep way. And I know that you know that I know. So there's a kind of very interesting, beyond intellect, beyond thinking way of understanding how much we can contribute to that kind of flowering that the first person who spoke says, when every single one of us is the flower that we are, facing whatever it is that we're facing in the human condition. That's what this brief period we call a human lifetime is really all about. And that's where the imagination, the creativity, and the love come in. So I couldn't be more touched to have spent this time with all of you. I mean, it's really remarkable. And I wish I could actually physically visit with every single one of you. We know that's never going to happen. But in a certain way, maybe it's not necessary, because we've visited in the most profound way. And maybe we'll do it again. Maybe we'll have the 2-year anniversary, or I don't know what's coming. But there are many, many more things out there on the web that are profoundly nurturing, that can keep us all sustained in one way or another. And the most important one, if you'll pardon my putting it this way in vernacular New York slang, is for us to get our ass on the cushion, especially when we don't want to, every single day, even if it's for one in-breath and one out-breath. But sometimes it's better to put 2 or 3 in-breaths and out-breaths together, and then live that into every single moment of our lives, as if it really, really, really mattered, and as if everybody benefits from it. Your family, your children, your grandchildren, your parents, whatever your life structure is, and then the world around also benefits.
Jon, can I just say something else?
Of course.
Because of what you said about the children and old people, because when you practice the mindfulness, what you said, although your life depends on it, it's really true, because I can be there also for my kids and for myself, kind of. That's what I wanted to share.
Thank you. And they're learning from how you are holding what's going on with you.
Yes.
So it's not like it's really important to not idealize how one relates to a life-threatening illness, but to be real around it.
Yes.
That's an incredible gift to others.
Mm-hmm. I hope so.
Thank you.
Thank you also. Thank you all.
So Perry and Tomas, where are you?
We are here.
Oh, you're still there.
We are
Hey.
Yeah.
You know, this was your idea. So I think we all need to really give you a bow of recognition and gratitude for the idea and for implementing it, but also for everything else that you're doing on Slack, and I don't even know what Slack is, and on, you know, all of the ways in which you are keeping this community going in a way that is really like Indra's net. It has no center. It's not centered on Jon Kabat-Zinn. It's centered on wisdom. It's centered on beauty. And I just love that that you have created a kind of Indra's net of that kind where we all, in some sense, reflect each other's beauty.
Thank you so much, Jon. Thank you for your words. Yeah, we were drinking in what you were saying, and also the sharing of the participants.
Yeah.
I feel very, very deeply touched and grateful for this session. Yeah, beyond words. Beyond words. Do you want to say something?
Yeah, we are very grateful, and I think it's even this session. It's almost like a direct continuation of the 13 weeks retreat, and this retreat was really a lifesaver and a life changer for so many of us. And I think it's beyond any imagination of what was evolving out of that on a global level. So we are very grateful, and yeah, we are very happy to continue the journey with everybody, and looking forward and being yeah, in the not knowing mind how things unfold. Yeah. And, really looking forward of what will unfold. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, we're totally connected. That will continue. So again, just enormous gratitude, and may all of us together and all of us individually be safe, be free from inner and outer harm, not just from COVID, but from all sorts of forms of harm and toxicity, some of which are actually arising in, you know, our own circumstances. And may we wind up living the lives that are truly ours to live in the only moment we ever have to live them. And we'll stay in touch. You know, I mean, this is not the end of anything. We didn't know that, you know, the retreat would go on for 3 months. We didn't know there'd be a birthday party. We didn't know there'd be an anniversary at 1 year. We don't know. And so to sort of underscore what Thomas just said, you know, we'll stay in the not knowing, and let that not knowing be not ignorance, but wisdom. I mean, that is like really, really important to cultivate. So thank you, one, and thank you all. And let's, if you're willing to, stay on for a few more moments. I'm going to have to go to France in a few moments for something that French TV is doing called Les Chemins du Sacré or something like that, that somehow I got into. But in the time that we do have, if we can go to gallery view and just say goodbye the way we used to, I just so happy to see you all. And I'm not going to shout out to certain people, but I just have to say, hi, Miriam. You know, and if I start, I'm going to, you know, just get carried away.
Jon.
So many people.
Hi,
Jon.
Bye, Soren.
Bye.
Yes.
Glad to see you.
Thank you very much. See you
Everybody. everybody. Bye. Everybody. Thank you. Harry. Thank you.
You're so cute today. You're going to be on, John. You have to tell us.
So, John.
Bye bye, Thomas. Thank you. Bye, Christina. So good to see you. Bye for now. Tutti. These are just the sounds of joy. Kim, it's so good to see you.
Just said it's Joseph there.
I wish you.
John. Good to see you. It's Jill in New York. But you're on the French TV. We're watching Marie. Marie with your such a blessing.
Okay, I just muted everyone because we also wanted to say thank you so much for joining. Thank you all for joining, and may you all be safe, protected, and healthy. So much love to you all. Take care. Much, much love. Bye. Bye, bye. Bye, bye. Bye. Okay, jetzt machen wir noch mal. Nicht mehr? Jetzt machen wir. Now you can unmute yourself again.
Thank you so much.
Oh, Jonathan Baker, great to see you.
Very nice.
Everybody.
Latinoamérica, un abrazo desde Colombia.
Everyone, how are you guys? Your floor is gorgeous.
Obrigada.
Bye bye.
Bye, everyone. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye, everyone. Thank you guys so much for
Bye. Thank you.
Love you. Hey, Wendy, how are you?
Andrea.
See you, hopefully.
See you.